Welcome back. Welcome back. You are listening to Whissel Weekends on AM 1170. The Answer. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with Whissel Realty. Joined as always by Mr. Jason Hall with Team Home Loans. We got Eunice De Alba with the Whissel Realty team in studio. Before the break, we were talking about the don'ts when it comes to solar. Don't lease. Don't put the Hero program on there. Don't finance with the Hero program.
And I'm sure there's other programs out there. I know we just
now there are some positives. So let's flush those out. Don't do Hero. Don't do lease. Those are bad. You can actually devalue your house if you do this to it. So do not do that. Now, there are other financing options that are much more reasonable. The other thing with Hero, too, is you used to be able to sell your home with Hero on it. And they would do, you can explain, it's called subordination.
Right.
So what happens is, in order for a lender to put a loan on a house, they typically want to be in the first position.
Very first position.
Well, they know that if Hero is on that house, like we talked about, Hero's attached to the property taxes, it's in the first position. Well, Hero used to subordinate and actually take a step back, let the loan get attached to the house, and then Hero would step back in. Now you can't do that anymore. Right. So now that Hero loan has to get paid off.
Yep.
Before close of escrow with the virtually every deal out there.
Purchase, pretty much everything, it has to be paid. And
the buyer's not going to pay.
You and I both here, the homeowners are always shocked. And we're like, didn't you do any research? Did you ask a third party that maybe is not interested?
Just Google Hero. Yeah. There's Hero ripoff. There's going to be 5 million articles about it on there. So just don't do it. But if you do traditional financing, there's actually a local bank, Metropolitan Credit Union. They're local in San Diego. They'll finance at like 4 or 5% interest, much more reasonable rates. Don't charge crazy fees. So if you can get financing through a credit union or something like that, those are some ways to finance
solar,
it.
So talk me to solar.
So here's the right way. There's 2 options. If you've got the cash, buy it. If you don't have the cash, do a power purchase agreement.
And what's a power purchase?
So if you've got the cash to buy it, that's obvious. Just buy it, right? Just flat out buy it. You get all the tax rebates, tax credits, all of those things that are available to you. You can usually get the best pricing because you can buy it outright. So if you can afford it, just buy it. Be done with it. One time, pay it. And it's all over. You don't ever have to pay it again. And now you're truly saving. You know, in that particular case, to say you use $150 of electricity a month, you're saving $150 month after month after month. And you truly added value to the house because it's paid. So now if somebody buys your home, like when I bought my home, the solar was paid for on the house. And so we factored that into the buying decision because based on the size of the house and it had a pool and all that stuff, the gas and electric bill would have been $400 a month on that house.
At least.
But now, because I didn't have to pay a $400 a month electric bill, it allowed me to step up a little higher on my price because I'm looking at the total picture of what's it going to cost me, not just the mortgage, but the utilities as well. So the fact that I was able to buy and know that I'm not going to have to pay that $400 a month electric bill, I was comfortable stepping up $50,000 in price because I knew that at the end of the day, the total expense was going to be, about the same. So I got more house, and I bought it for a higher price because of that solar.
And you saw the value in solar where some of the other competitive buyers for your particular home, they were offering just at the list price. You actually offered a little bit over the list price because you saw value in the home, the lot. But the biggest value, one of the bigger ones you just mentioned was the solar.
Yeah.
You knew, hey, the appraiser's not going to give X amount more for the for having solar, but you saw the value. In the long term, it's well worth it. Save yourself $300+ on your gas and electric. It's a no-brainer. When I did an open house last weekend, one of your properties up there in Sky Ranch at $999, a bunch of people were in there talking about solar. I don't think that particular home had it.
It's got it paid in full.
Oh, paid in full. But I know people kept asking, and the neighbors were talking about the benefit. And here's a great benefit. One of your neighbors was like, Jason, I don't worry if I leave the AC on or my wife leaves the AC on because our electricity bill, Jason, is zero. He goes, the first month we were here, it was like $600. And he's got one of those 4,500 square foot homes you got up there, one of the very large homes. And he says now it's zero. All he has to pay for is his gas.
Yep, which costs almost nothing.
Yeah, he says it's great.
So buy it outright if you can. If you've got the cash, just buy it outright. You'll get some huge tax benefits as well. Buy it outright if you can. But a lot of us don't have 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand, depending on the size of your house, all that stuff. We don't all have that cash. Some of us have no cash. Cool. The way that a power purchase agreement works, this is one of my favorites, is they'll put this thing on your roof for free, and they will preset the cost for the electricity that you use. So the going rate with San Diego Gas and Electric right now, on average, again, I'm not a solar expert. Don't quote me on this. Call SDG&E. You can confirm all this stuff. But it's around 30 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, a lot of times with these power purchase agreements, I'm seeing the rate start around 15 to 20 cents a kilowatt hour.
Right.
So let's call it 15. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm not a solar salesperson, but this is what I've seen in my experience as a realtor, is the rates are usually around 15 to 20 cents versus 30 cents. So they're putting this on for free. And then as you use it, instead of paying 30 cents a kilowatt, I'm paying 15. Let's call it 20. Let's just even call it 20. So I'm paying 1/3 less than I was paying before, and I paid nothing to put it on my house.
Right. So if you were paying $300, now you're only paying $200. Why wouldn't you do it?
Why wouldn't you do it, right?
Right.
And then it actually gets more attractive as time goes on because it's got built-in increases in it, and the increases in it tend to be significantly smaller than the increases SDG&E is having. SDG&E has been increasing in the 5 to 10% per year range.
We're one of the highest in the nation.
It is. And the increases on these things, you're going from like 20 cents to 21 cents, like really small increases on these things. So the increases with SDG&E are going up faster than the increases on the power purchase agreement. So the savings is actually growing over time. So you're putting it on for free and you're saving money every single month. And the longer it goes on, the more you're saving. That's a beautiful thing. Now, is this going to add value when you go to sell? No. But
because you don't own it.
You don't own it. But it's not going to devalue your house. So you can put it on and you can confidently know that when you go to sell, it's going to be a smooth transfer. It's going to be easy to move it over to somebody else. And there's no there's no fixed payment on it. Where a lease, there's a fixed payment, $175 in that scenario we talked about. There's no fixed payment on that power purchase agreement. You're only paying for what you use. So if you have a month and you go like the summertime and you got ACs
just
and
like
pools, it's going to be higher. And then the months it's going to be lower. So you're just paying for what you actually use. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And sometimes it may add a little value, but typically I say at least it's value neutral, where financing it a lot of times can devalue your house. Leasing it almost always devalues the house. This is great because you put it on and it's going to save you money every month. And then you go to sell it, and it's not going to have a negative effect on it. That's beautiful. So and if anything, it's going to have a positive effect.
So let me ask you, right? I
know so you need to go home, Jason.
I know. We need
call my boy.
Well, that's what I'm
put it on your house.
So you have. I mean, I've met a few people. We've had some over the years, over the last 4+ years we've been doing the show. We've had people on here. Now, if someone's listening and just heard, especially the last 2 segments, they're like, I've been thinking about it. I'd like to get somebody or even get a second or third opinion. If they text you, Kyle, do you have somebody you can highly recommend that you know is going to give them a fair deal?
Yes, I will connect you with the person who put the solar on my house.
All right.
It did a great job.
What's that number again?
It. Call me or text me, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. I will get you connected. I recommend, talk to at least 2 companies because you don't know what you don't know. So I'll connect you with one, talk to somebody else. That way you can at least have some basis for a comparison and look at the 2. But you really, really got to be careful when you're putting solar on your house. Feel free, if you're looking at it or if you've already got solar on your house and you're wondering how is this going to affect the value of it, I'm happy to take a look at what you had agreed to, give you my professional opinion on what that did to the resale value. Did it add value? Did it, subtract value, or is it a value neutral kind of thing? Totally happy to just take a look at your particular scenario and give you some professional advice. Or if you're thinking about doing it.
And wouldn't you recommend, even if you're thinking about doing it, actually interviewing one of the top agents in the marketplace, or even an agent on his team, to be like, hey, if I do this, am I doing the right thing? Because at some point, everybody's a seller, right? My wife says we're never going to sell our house, but even if we never do, my kids will sell it, right, when we pass. Everybody's a seller at some point. You don't want to put a negative thing that's going to hurt when you come to sell, or even if your family has to deal with it, or one of your loved ones. I mean, you really want to make certain you do your research. I would say just call Kyle, text him, or somebody on his team will definitely get back to you. Again, 619-663-7355. If you're thinking, hey, I'm getting ready to put solar on, they want me to sign this contract, because I get calls all the time, Kyle, from clients that, hey, if I sign this contract, is it going to impact a possible refi or sell in the future? And I think they should be definitely connecting with you and your team. So
yeah, so the power purchase agreement, I love it. Jason, you need the power purchase agreement on your house. And
I need some cash, man. I just got to pay in cash. I'm a cash guy. That's what I've been waiting for.
But see, the other thing that we talked about, with the lease is if it's got that $175 payment fixed every month, and most leases increase over time too.
Right.
So they're not like a car lease where it's just fixed for the 5 years.
That no one sees coming.
It goes up every single year. Some leases do have prepay penalties. Some you can't prepay until like year 5 or year 7.
And even then, it's some crazy amount, like you talked about, 50 grand.
It's insane. So you might not even be able to prepay. Now you're really screwed. Now you got to just discount your price. But we talked about if there's a fixed payment on that home, it's going to get factored into the buyer's qualification, and it may make or break the buyer being able to buy your home. The power purchase agreement, there is no fixed payment. So it's not going to affect the buyer in that way.
Wow.
So just to recap everything, the don'ts, leasing and financing with the HERO program. The do's, if you're going to finance, look at the credit unions. They've got some of the best programs. Or you could even do like a home equity line of credit is a great option. Those can work.
Yep.
But my 2 favorites, if you've got the cash, buy it outright. You get all the tax benefits and just one-time payment, be done, never have to think about it again, and be like my neighbor who went from a $600 bill to 0 and can run the AC 24/7. That's great.
He says they don't argue anymore.
Yeah.
He says, Jason, even if we keep the door open, we could be AC in the neighborhood here in Sky Ranch, and we don't worry about it because our electricity bill is not impacted. We own our own electricity. Exactly. Our solar generates so much, we have excess. And guess what? We don't get paid anymore back from SDG&E apparently, or not much. Right. So he doesn't mind, wasting
Use it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They literally AC the garage because he's got some nice cars in there. I mean, he was like, Jason, it's the best thing. You got to get solar. Yep. It's been on my to-do list, and I've got to move it up.
And the last option I like, power purchase agreement, costs nothing to put it on, saves you money every month, doesn't affect the value when you go to sell. So I love it. All right, we got one more segment, right?
Yeah, I believe so, man.
Right.
You're playing Indian music, man. I guess he wants to cut us off because we've been talking so much.
I love it. All right, we're going to head to a break here on Whissel Wednesdays. Whissel Weekends, sorry. When we get back, we're going to talk with Jason Hall, get the latest.
Maybe the time did go. Maybe that is it. Hey, if this is it, man, Whissel Weekend, have a great one. We'll be back.